Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Jumpstarting Your Sundays with Overseer Everett. This morning we want to pivot a little bit to speak about a topic that is relevant for us to understand, particularly those of us who find ourselves in a leadership role where we are directing or leading others, whether it's in Christian ministry, proper as pastors and overseers and what have you, or whether it's just you directing some auxiliary, and you have people coming on board with you, and so there are just some things that are. How can I put it? There are some things that just are a matter of course as you interact with people. There are things that are true to life, to ministry, that you can't always find an associated Bible verse. I'm sure if I looked long enough, hard enough, I could probably find a Bible verse to add to this episode. But what I want to talk about is the subject of hitchhikers. Hitchhikers. Now, I know from the outset that that's probably a word that many of us haven't heard in years, particularly those of us that may be, in our 20s and 30s. You may have never heard the word hitchhikers. But for those of us who've heard it, you remember there was a time when you would be driving and you would see people alongside of the road with their thumbs up, trying to hitch a ride to their destination. We called them hitchhikers. And so what a hitchhiker would do is they would be along the side of the road with their thumbs out, and someone would drive up and say, "Hey, where you going?" And they'll say, "Well, I'm trying to go to such and such part of the town." And if that person was headed in that direction, they would allow the person to get in their vehicle and they would drive off. And when they arrived somewhere in the vicinity or near that destination, the person would get out. Now, just let me say from the gate that's not something I would recommend anyone doing, particularly in this day and in this time. I wouldn't recommend, being a hitchhiker today or being someone who stops to pick up a hitchhiker. Amen. But what I've come to understand is that there are hitchhikers in ministry. There are hitchhikers in life. And what you come to know is that there are people who are destined to get somewhere, and they're willing to come on board with you just to get there. Amen. And so the question can be asked, are hitchhikers bad people? Well, not necessarily. Some hitchhikers are master conversationalists. If you want somebody to talk to along your journey, well, a hitchhiker could talk until times got better. A hitchhiker, a lot of times, was a good person. Amen. Sometimes they would, if you had to stop to get gas, they would jump out and help you pump the gas. They would help you put your bags in the car, take your bags out the car. They were very helpful. So I'm not going to label them all as bad people. But here's the thing that you need to know, and why it's relevant for those of us who may be trying to lead people, trying to teach folks. It's important that you understand that the hitchhiker's objective is to get to their destination. And they're going to use you as a means to get there. Let me say that again. The hitchhiker's objective is to get to their destination. And they're going to use you to get there. And so what's important to understand about the hitchhiker is, from the moment that they get into your vehicle, from the moment they come on board in your church or on your ministry, from the moment they get on board, their goal is to get to where they're going. Their goal is to reach their destination. Hear me, they're not your friend, although they may be quite friendly. They're not there for you, although they may be very helpful. They're going to remain on board. They're going to stay on board until they arrive at where they're going. When they get to their destination, they're going to get out the vehicle and go about their business. They may say thank you. They may not say thank you. They may wave goodbye. They may not wave goodbye. Their objective, hear what I say, their objective is to reach that destination. You can bring them on board. You can utilize their gifts. You can utilize their talents. You can enjoy their fellowship. You can enjoy their company. But what you must know is that once they get to their destination, they're waving goodbye. They're saying goodbye. And what I've observed a lot of times is people who are truly upset because the hitchhiker has gone on about their business. And you try to encourage, and sometimes you'll encounter individuals who are so deflated so deflated because this person who was on board with them for months, maybe for years, has decided to go about their business. And sometimes it's, people take it as betrayal. They take it as if something was done to them that's unspeakable. And you remind the person that when that person came aboard, they made it known. They made it known from the gate that they had an objective, they had a goal, they had a destination they wanted to reach. And many times we were more than willing to lend our assistance. We were more than willing to help. But beloved, you have to understand that the hitchhiker was never on board for you. The hitchhiker was on board to reach their destination. This is Overseer Everett. God bless you. I hope this little tidbit can help you along your journey. Enjoy your time in church.